My first video on DRG surprisingly did super well, becoming my top most viewed video, and I gained a couple of new subscribers, so I do have to say, thank you. Although these kinds of videos aren't what I usually do, I hope you still enjoy them nonetheless. I also left that first video with an untold ending of me promoting the engineer. I guess I wasn't clear enough that I was going to do it anyway, but this time I will record me promoting the scout class. With that said, this is the second video of my DRG journey. Also, I'm using mostly different background music for this one, so it does get repetitive. Now, I know the subtitle for Act 1 is far, at least for Scout. However, I did max level my engineer and I hadn't done the promotion assignment because of weekly and both summer assignments. But hey, at least we'll see the result of my work as engineer. But currently we're focusing on Scout. Now, the first mission is a blue crack mission with critical weakness and elite threat mutators. I should be fine, but I guess we'll see. I step out of the drop pod and immediately take a look at the equipment I have as Scout. I see the flare gun in my loadout and think that I'm not going to use it all that much, but that changes drastically later on. Anyway, I immediately get started mining the blue crack, and I get two and have Bosco carry one of them for me. I threw one of the blue crack rocks to the mine head and used the grappling hook. I didn't realize at first that I needed to hold the button for it to grab and pull me to the direction I aimed. I set the two blue crack rocks next to the mine head and used the grappling hook. Since it is faster than running, I kinda started thinking I could technically speedrun with this. And I was right to an extent. Also, my second objective was getting gunk seeds. I continued looking for more blue crack, and eventually a swarm was on me. Oh, and I also found a pool float, which means more enemies. I managed to handle them all pretty well, and also found myself a kryptonite. I eventually deposited the pool float, and I'm missing at least one more blue crack rock. Eventually, I deposited all the blue crack rocks, and now all I gotta do is gather up all 12 gunk seeds, which I do. The pod lands and I get on, mission success. The next mission I had to do for my engineer promotion assignment was a Morkai collecting mission, where I felt like the grappling hook at the scout would prove more useful in a mission like this. My second objective is collecting flowers. It's also a Morkai mission, so nothing much of note. However, I did get lost multiple times and the drop pod landed at a less than ideal place for me to leave the mission. But I did make it out, so mission success. Elimination is what's next. Once I land, I immediately get started collecting nitro for the Dreadnoughts. My second objective is collecting Ebonut. It doesn't take long to find the first Dreadnought cocoon. I deal with a few enemies. I also see a pink glowy spot. I've never encountered a mineral like this before, and the name seems fitting, but I'm gonna call this one Pink Kryptonite. It also must be a pretty rare mineral in DRG, because that depository count is unbelievable. But anyway, after that I get to dealing with the first Dreadnought, and oh how lucky, a Praetorian shows up too. Also, the shotgun the scout has is really good. It can't be said enough how much it helps with damage in 2 shots. If that can be done with just one scout, I can't imagine the damage output it could do with 3 other scouts with the same modification build. But anyway, the Glyphid Dreadnought has been defeated, and I keep forgetting cave leeches are a thing in DRG. I find a electric brain spawn thingy, and no, I'm not pronouncing that, but I deal with it and a couple of bugs that spawned when I got near the summer pool float. I eventually get to the second cocoon, and once I begin the fight, it's the twins. Wasn't bad since I have Bosco, so I can direct Bosco to one of the twin Dreadnoughts while I deal with the other, and yes, I did give Bosco all the modifications so he can technically deal with them on his own. Anyway, I finally defeat both Dreadnought twins, deposit what's left of the Ebonuts, and call the drop pod and got out of there. Mission success. I'm on the last mission for this promotion assignment. It's a sabotage mission and I'm gonna be in a cold area. At the very least, it's better to deal with than rock pox. My second objective is collecting fossils. I get to work looking for the first power station to hack, and what luck, a nemesis is around the power station. I send Bosco out to take down some of its health, but I eventually have to deal with it, and it went better than I expected. Mostly because I stayed a good distance away from its arms. After that was dealt with, I hacked a patrol bot and set up connection to hack the power station and get started. Didn't take long, only had to reboot once at pretty much the end of the hacking process. After that, I find the second power station. I get started and start the hacking. After the second power station hacking was finished, I had a grappling hook accident. Luckily I didn't fail, but now if I get down one more time, that's mission fail. Now it's time to deal with the caretaker. And it wasn't that bad. The vault is open and the data rack is for the taking. I call in the drop pod and completely forget to deposit the pool flow that I casually passed by. I try to take it with me to the drop pod, but eventually I just get to Bosco to carry the float over. To make it to the drop pod, I had to wait for Bosco to actually get there so I can deposit the pool float, which felt like one of those moments where you're holding out for 1 minute for someone or something, and it's the most painful 1 minute you've ever had to hold out for. At this point I'm close to dying to anything, but I managed to get back up to the drop pod, deposited the pool float, and got out of there. Needless to say, mission success.
If someone deserves a promotion, it's gotta be me!
Congratulations. You've bled blood, rock, and bullets like only a few before you. You've journeyed far and wide, you've struggled and persevered, and you have now earned your promotion. Management and I salute you. Damn fine work, Miner. Rock and stone.
Now that the promotion is done, I can pick out the next assignment I want to do, and it's part of this season of DRG. I feel like I'm definitely up for it. I get to finding the first Dreadnought cocoon pretty quick and took care of the twins. I also have a third objective, that being taking down 3 contagion spikes. I encountered the first one I have to deal with and call the cleansing pod. Since it also spawns enemies once I get closer to the contagion spike, I called in a resupply too. I also noticed there's a pool flow near the rock box. Anyway, I get to dealing with the contagion spike and it's over in a matter of a few minutes. After that, I progress to look for the second Dreadnought cocoon and find both it and another contagion spike. My priority was making sure no rockpox glyphids would be a problem for me while I'm dealing with the Dreadnought, so I take down the contagion spike. And then I get to taking down the second Dreadnought. It's a glyphid Dreadnought, so it went down pretty easy. After it was dealt with, I headed on over to the third and final contagion spike. I finally finished the third objective and also my second objective, and so I call the drop pod and leave. Mission success.
So from this point on, I'll narrate any part of Exo's journey that he doesn't want to. So with that said, let's get back to it. To be honest, there wasn't much for this mission, just had to fix 2 mules. We did get a lot of Krappa though, and he did get down once, but aside from that, mission was a success!
Next up it is another mission with the lithophage outbreak. The main mission is another salvage mission with collecting holomite as my second objective. Had to get myself a tunnel rat drink before heading down. Oh, and also ironically, even though I had rich atmosphere mutation, I still took a while to finish the mission. But continuing on, finding the first mule I had to salvage was literally below where I found the legs. But I took care of the first contagion spike in a swarm before putting the mule back together. After that I went to find the drop pod. I only had 2 contagion spikes to take care of this time, so I assumed the other contagion spike would be over where the broken drop pod was at. And hey, it was near where the broken drop pod was at. I did a bit of collecting minerals before I went to take care of the contagion spike. I had found a big pearl and also finished collecting all necessary holomite for the second objective. After I deposited, I went to take care of the last contagion spike, which didn't take long. I know this isn't exactly how I'm supposed to do this contagion spike cleaning, but I had no idea at the time. Anyway, I got the mules on their way inside the drop pod and got to work setting up the uplink. Easiest shit. of my life.
Return to the triangulation zone. We're losing your connection.
Okay, I got one down, but I did get the uplink done at least. I'll be honest, after the engineer stuff, not having sentries to help me in fighting off bugs during these salvage missions for the uplink and refueling process really sucks. Anyway, after I refueled, I held out for the powering out process, and once it finished, I got out of there. Mission success. The next mission is an elimination mission. Now, nothing specific happened in this mission, it was a regular kind of stuff you'd expect. First Dreadnought I fought was a Galactic Dreadnought, which wasn't difficult at all. However, the Dreadnought twins is a different story.
I need a rocket here! Oh my fear! Attack here!
Hit the return button on the mule when you're ready and we'll pick you up.
After that fight, I called in a drop pod and left with a mission success. The next mission is Blue Crack mission as main objective, but I'm also there to deal with contagion spikes too, with a low gravity mutation. I took a Rocky Mountain drink so the environment won't take more than one pickaxe hit to break the terrain, so this low gravity mutation with scout equipment was a pretty easy 20 minutes I spent in this mission. With that said,
decontamination process awaits you back on the space rig.
There be life. Even blizzards don't serve. Yeah. From A to D, skipping B and C.
mission success. With the first critical corruption assignment finished, I figured it was about time I tried to fix my priorities, so I decided to do an assignment that unlocks pickaxe parts. My first mission in this assignment is elimination, and you know what? I'm gonna grab some water. I'll be right back.
Okay, well, he went and got himself some drinks from the Abyss Bar, so he won't be back for a while. Oh well, anyway, this next mission has a critical weakness and low oxygen mutation, which doesn't really change anything, it just takes longer to do the mission since you'll have to stop every couple of minutes to refill your oxygen. Which are, by the way, equipped with drop pod, me, and resupply pods, and are pretty much endless supply moving on. After landing and extracting kryptonite, Exo found one of the Dreadnought cocoons and got to work fighting the Hive Guard. It was pretty funny watching him zip around the Dreadnought with a grappling hook. After defeating it and getting a plague heart, we found a pool float, which those things may be worth collecting, but it's bothersome if you accidentally stumble on a pool float and just get swarmed anyway without even digging to get the pool float. After getting the pool float and finding another kryptonite, we also found a cargo crate that needed repairing, and the cosmetic he got from it was pretty alright. We also had found compressed gold. Eventually, we finally got to work on the next Dreadnought, which
Well done, team.
Exo forgot to get the last 4 flowers before calling the drop pod, so that was on him. Aside that mistake, mission success!
I'm back and I'm ready to narrate again. This next one's a follow the drill dozer mission that has a volatile guts mutation, no downsides, so looks good. The usual happens, I get grabbed by a cave leech and the drill dozer needs refueling with the surrounding oil shale. So I do that, and I also look for holomite because I only needed 10 more holomite to finish the second objective. After searching with no luck, I just get the drill dozer back up and running, and I arrive at the Bomberman Hearthstone. I also found the pool float near the Bomberman Hearthstone, deposited, and I also found another cargo crate which had an awesome loot. A custom engineered skin for driller equipment. Awesome. Now, doing this Bomberman Hearthstone drilling was easy. Keep in mind, I'm still doing Hazard 3 difficulty. I haven't exactly thought about doing Hazard 4 by myself just yet. But going back to the Bomberman Hearthstone, it was easy, especially when the laser crystals started popping up. But after the Hearthstone was deposited onto Molly, I got out of there. Mission success. The third mission for this pickaxe set assignment is a salvage mission, and I already got a pool float. This is also a radioactive terrain, which I don't like. I also nearly get down from fall damage, but it doesn't really last long because after I finish my second objective, fix both mules, uplink to mission control, it's the fucking refueling process, where I fail the mission. And prior to this mission, if I failed in any way, it would always be because I got downed and have no more revives. The way I failed this mission though, I was surrounded by lots of enemies which I kept messing up, and even the default throwables didn't really help all that much, or I just didn't know how to use them properly. But the point is, I failed that mission not because I had no more revives. It was cause I stayed too far from the refuel pod and the process meter reached to a 0. And this shit happened.
Fuel cell charging failed. Mission unsuccessful. This one is a loss. Too bad, team. Signing off.
Mission fucking failed. But then I played again with a different throwable that Serge told me helped a lot more when playing as Scout, and it actually did work to distract the grunts even for a little bit. I had the same second objective, so nothing changed except for the fact that it was easier due to me changing my throwable to the pheromone canister. So after only one fail out of 13 missions so far, I may have actually slightly improved since the first time I did my journey playing as the engineer. Which is pretty good, I'll say. Mission success. The last mission for this pickaxe hunt assignment is a regular old Mordecai mining mission. With collecting holomite as my second objective, there are about 2 things of note, and it's that I found one cargo crate and I accidentally triggered a mini boss, and by the time I got its health down to its last chunk, I had no ammo to use against it. So I had Bosco take out the sprouts to give me an opening and use the pickaxe skull crusher. After dealing with that thing and depositing its shard, I repaired the cargo crate to find a skin for my gunner's minigun. After which I also got down, but after that it was a mission success and assignment complete. At this point, I am now 4 levels away from pretty much unlocking all modification slots. And I'd like to bring up that despite this being fun to do, I can say that I'm not going to do another journey video for the last class I'll have left by the end of this video, the Driller. Instead, I'll just level up the Driller class on my own free time, cause man, I was almost burned out just making the Engineer Journey video. So I hope you can understand when I say after this video, I'm done with the whole journey thing. Although, it is possible I might make a couple of videos of me just playing Deep Rock Galactic. Alright, with that said, back to the video. The next assignment I picked is part 2 of the Critical Corruption assignment, and the first mission I'm doing is yet another mining expedition. Third objective being to take down the Contagion Spike. Also, this mission has a Golden Bugs mutation, which sounds like a big payout. And so, we're off. Alright. So in that mission, pretty much nothing happened after being down once. Okay, well that's kind of a lie since I got downed a second time, but I took care of one Contagion Spike and eventually I took care of the second Contagion Spike. Eventually I got all objectives done. The grappling hook is really fucking good for vertical traversal. And it was done after 38 minutes of mission that I didn't want to drag out. Mission success. The second mission on the assignment was a blue crack with flowers as the second objective, which was also easier after I got the pool float. After getting the blue crack rocks deposited in the flowers, which took me a while to find, the mission was done pretty smoothly. Mission success. The third mission was an egg hunt with lithophage outbreak, and after a sip of Pot of Greed, I head down to see a large vein of nitra and a fossil, which collecting 10 of them is my second objective. And of course Contagion Spike, which this time I only have to take care of one, so that made things a little easier. And after taking care of a Praetorian, I go deeper into the cave and find a breeder, which I had Bosco take care of. And after noticing that the Contagion Spike was literally to my right, but I had priority, so I got the first 3 eggs, and after that I requested cleaning pod, and got some more fossils to finish my second objective. After setting up some lights, I got to work on the Contagion Spike, which after some time I cleared the spike, and finished my main objective. So, it was time to go. Mission success. Fourth mission was another salvage mission, which after drinking Backbreaker Stout, I was ready to go. Okay, that didn't go so well. Oh well, time to go at it again. Hopefully no bulk detonators spawn in. Oh, luckily I took care of it, and it didn't explode near me, so after that everything was fine. Mission success. The last assignment I did was a license upgrade to unlock the M1000 Classic, and my first mission is an egg hunt, with killing 10 fleas as my second objective. And as soon as I step off the drop pod, I'm greeted with a nemesis, which should be fun. After maybe 2 minutes, I took it down pretty easily. But now with that out of the way, I can continue with the egg hunt after killing 3 festive fleas. I grabbed my first and second egg and deposited them both. After the second egg though, I had a swarm coming my way. And after taking care of the swarm, I went to collect the third egg. I said after collecting the third egg. Alright. After I deposited the third egg, I took down the bulk detonator and continued on my way to collect the fourth egg. After I got the fourth egg, I was pretty much out of ammo, but in the meantime I was grabbing the last 2 eggs. After I completed my main objective, I looked for the last 2 festive fleas, which I eventually do. Completed my mission, I called in a drop pod and left. Mission success. The second mission was a simple mining expedition, nothing much happened, just got a kryptonite and that was all that was worth noting. Mission success. And now, for the last mission, to complete both the assignment and complete my journey, at least until I finish promoting Scout, is a Drill Dozer mission. With a rich atmosphere mutation, and I drink a Slayer Stout before starting the mission. After gathering some nitra, I start the Drill Dozer, which after a bit of time, the usual happens, the fuel runs out, and I have to refuel with the oil shale. After I refueled the canisters, the Drill Dozer got on its way, but something happens. The journey to the Omeran Hardstone was a bit longer than expected because the fuel runs out again, and I have to refuel them again. I found a cargo crate, get the loot, and refueled the canisters. I got the Drill Dozer on its way, and then this happens. So, yeah. After finding the pool float and completing my second objective, I start the Drill Dozer. Everything went fine, and after a close call, the Drill Dozer finishes the drilling process, leaving the Heartstone for the taking. After I call the drop pod and wait for Molly by the drop pod while also holding off the grunts, I finally finish, completing the mission and completing the assignment. resulting in that boost I needed for my last hold up. With that, I have but one last thing to put here before I end this video, and it took a little while to get there, so here we go.
A dream come true!
Excellent. You've contributed to the wealth of Deep Rock Galactic, and management salutes you. Be proud. Very few dwarves live long enough to get promoted, and you have truly earned it. Rock and Stone Miner.
I've finally done it. I completed my scout promotion, technically completed this journey as scout. I know I got weapons to unlock and whatnot, but overall, now that the hard part is done, I can now end this video. Thank you, first off, for sitting through this video. And I know it may be late as hell, but around a month ago, a few days after my first upload of my Deep Rock Galactic journey, it was received surprisingly well. I want to emphasize that I had very little expectation for that video to ever reach the amount of views, likes, and comments it did. But it did also scare me a little, and those kinds of videos were never in my vision for my channel, so to see that it was sitting with a surprising amount of positive feedback and interaction, I couldn't have been more happier. But as for why it scared me, like mentioned before, I don't really make that kind of content usually. And I figured after making this video that I'm done and won't continue for Driller, the last class I have left to level up and promote. Although, after making 2 videos like this, maybe I can mix what I did here for another kind of video. But for now, that's all. Laters.